Welcome back, and congratulations on all the work you've already begun to welcome your visitors and smooth the path from newcomer to new member. Now, in this third segment of our video workshop, we're going to tackle what you might call the rest of the story, or to put it another way, closing the revolving door.
A revolving door was exactly what we had at our church for nearly 2 decades. We'd gain an average of 50 new members a year, then we'd lose the same number.
Naturally, a congregation will always lose a few members each year. That's just life. But the goal is to lose as few as possible by making everyone, from newcomers to old-timers, all feel valued, even after they sign the book.
One of the things that I know some congregations really struggle with is they do a much better job of welcoming than they do after that. And so the closing the revolving door is really about everything. It's about creating human connections.
Now, we realize that when Peter says closing the revolving door is about everything, that sounds huge.
It is huge.
So let's put it another way. Closing the revolving door means doing good church. But be not overwhelmed, a little brainstorming, a little processing.
And you'll start seeing lots of ways to help new members really connect. One of the first things we do, and you may already do this, is to formally welcome the new member into the congregation.
This is the time during the service that we honor our newest members and their decision to join our church family.
During the ceremony, I think the most meaningful part, well, there's several. They get to come up to the mic and introduce themselves and their children if they've brought them.
Hi, I'm Lydia Stranglin, and my daughter Rose is still sleeping this morning.
Members of JUC, will you welcome these people into our congregation? Will you extend a warm welcome to each of them, remembering that each of us was once a new member?
Yes. We speak with them about what we expect, just in a very ritualistic kind of way.
I charge you to find and share your special gifts with us. We need you. We need your energy. We need your ideas.
We ask them to light a candle from the flame of our chalice, and when you see that sand bowl all lit with the flames of the enthusiasm and earnestness of the people who've just joined, I think it's really powerful.
By the time we hold the new member welcome, we do it 2 or 3 times a year, many new members have already jumped in, attending classes, participating in things. So step 1 to closing the revolving door is to make sure new members know what opportunities to participate are available.
It's about giving people choices, but also inviting them to participate.
Tell me some of your interests that you
I like to sing. I like to be in the
When we think of the needs that people have, we think of emotional support and their spiritual needs, but one of the real needs they have is to contribute.
But my real passion is the elders of the church. And I did that once before in a church that I belonged to.
One of the ways you really feel like you belong is, by rolling up your sleeves and taking part in things.
Part of the expectation of membership is that you get involved right away in a program that we call Foundations of Fellowship, where new members will commit at least once a quarter to either usher or greet or work in the nursery or help on Sunday morning with refreshments, with coffee.
These just little basic things, kind of housekeeping things for a congregation. But there are also things where people can really meet other people too. And you're always paired up. If you're asked to make coffee, you're not alone. You're there with someone who's done it before, and then you can strike up a conversation. Of course, everybody parades in front of you during coffee hour.
That's one way that they get started right away, but another way is I try to contact them and set up what's called a connection visit, and I'll do that either individually or in a small group. We spend an hour and a half together kind of cutting through the red tape of what all of the programs that are happening at our church. And then we talk about what brought them here, what their interests are professionally and recreationally, and what they might bring to the church and how they might get involved right away.
I mean, we've known for a long time that the best predictor of whether somebody will stay in the congregation is the number of relationships they make in the first 6 months. And so we spend a lot of effort trying to help people find their niches.
It gives you a sense of ownership in the church. I think that's healthy. I think that's part of what makes people come back and makes them want to continue coming to the church, that they feel like they're part of things.
Another way that we have developed to integrate people into the life of the church community is through a class we call the Next Step class.
This church thrives because ours is a shared ministry.
And we bring on board leaders from various programs in the church, and they come and introduce those programs.
I have something that is easy, takes little time, and makes a big difference. And that is Interfaith Hospitality Network.
After the Wednesday fellowship dinner, 7 p.m., put on the calendar now.
And people have an opportunity to go over to what we call Let's Connect. They go over to tables and they have an opportunity to talk to these program leaders and a chance to get their questions answered and to find out how they can be involved in those particular groups.
Our volunteer coordinator is on staff, but the position certainly started out as a volunteer job. And either way, paid or volunteer, the benefit is the same. Helping to get people engaged, helping to close the revolving door.
The ability to have someone who talks to them, who explores with them what they're passionate about, what they really like to do and might like to get involved in, and makes it easy, makes that contact, talk to so-and-so, is just critical, because you can't just leave that to chance.
While volunteering is a terrific way to connect, it's not the only way, which brings us to step 2 in closing the revolving door, the wonderful world of fellowship. One of our favorite fellowship activities is something that no self-respecting UU church can live without.
A potluck.
More specifically, a new member potluck. We hold 3 of them a year and they're great fun.
Yeah, but then in general, we like fun.
It's more than just a dinner club. It really is an opportunity for the newcomers to get to know each other on a Sunday evening in a family-style dinner.
The next thing we're going to do is just go around and introduce yourselves and your children.
I'm Chris Johnstone.
And this then becomes their new church family. And we have found that it really provides the kind of experience that paves the way for deeper relationships in the church.
And that's the importance of fellowship, is to bring people together for no other reason than to be together. There aren't announcements, you're not going to have to sign up for anything. It's just a time to be together, and whatever that looks like, whether it's just ice cream or whether it's a dinner, you're building community.
So now let's move on to step 3 in closing the revolving door. Creating high-quality, engaging programming for all the members of your church. Now, this is where we're all going to be different, because your programming obviously depends on meeting the needs of your congregation, your people. We can say this: it has to mean quality.
Quality is absolutely essential, but I think we need to think about quality as the natural outgrowth of what happens when we are passionate about what we're doing, about who we are, and we're really committed to it. And when you have that attitude, it shows in your worship. It shows in religious education. It shows in your adult programming. It shows in what you take out into the community and social action. So it's really not separate from who you are. It's the outgrowth of who you are.
Here are just a couple of specific Sunday morning elements that are JUC favorites. One was a change that was the subject of intense discussion beforehand. We all know how that goes. And then when we actually made this change, everybody loved it. It's our pastoral prayer, which replaced our joys and concerns.
The way we do the pastoral prayer, where we have a book where people can write in before the service things they want included in the pastoral prayer. And then the minister collates all of those into a very meaningful prayer.
May we hold Marlene Williamson, whose mother's been ill, Mary DeYoung, who had knee surgery.
You actually get more information in that time.
And let us embrace all that is our lives. Amen.
Our other favorite is our chalice lighting tradition. Now, every Sunday, a member of the congregation tells a personal story that fits the theme of the service. We learn so much about each other this way, and sometimes they just take your breath away.
After 8 years attending the same church in Arvada, I still did not feel connected, and I also could no longer accept much of the teaching of the church. What a difference I found here. Annie took us under her wing, made us both feel immediately welcomed. People made it a point to stop by and visit with both of us at the coffee time after the service. Katie loves to share the fact that both she and her Barbie have beautiful blue eyes with everyone that she meets. After we joined, Dia met with us to discuss how both Katie and I would like to volunteer and participate in JDC activities. It means so much that we have found a church home where Katie is respected for her gifts also. Her favorite way of helping is to sell grocery certificates on Sunday morning. I finally feel connected, like I found my home. We look forward to growing along with JDC and helping other newcomers feel welcome when they enter the door. Katie will now light the chalice, a welcoming beacon to all.
The point of all this, letting people know how they can participate and get connected, and offering quality programming and worship experiences, is to give people a reason to come back Sunday after Sunday, year after year. This is, we think, the way to close the revolving door. And why is it important? So your church, and so the entire movement, can thrive.
So instead of our paltry 1% growth, if each of our churches added 2 new members a year and lost 2 fewer members a year, Unitarian Universalist membership would grow by 5%, which in less than a decade would let 100,000 more people share our incredible UU gift and voice. Add 2 new members, lose 2 fewer. Can't we do that?
Okay, it's your turn again to focus on your church. Please select a scribe and a facilitator and get ready to list all of the ways you formally welcome new members into the congregation. With that list in hand, brainstorm concrete additional ways to acknowledge and celebrate new members.
Secondly, take a look at how you encourage people to volunteer. List specific recruiting efforts and their effectiveness. Do you use a sign-up sheet, newsletter solicitation, your website, personal phone calls? And who's responsible for volunteer recruitment? Take an honest look at what's working and what isn't.
On programming, review the kinds of activities, classes, and events your church offers. Now, the point of this exercise is to reveal any underserved segments of your congregation, from newcomers to old-timers. Make sure you discuss how these offerings are publicized. Are you really getting the message out?
Well, this should be enough to keep you talking and planning for a meeting or two. In a few seconds, this DVD will return to the main menu. Enjoy your discussion.
And remember, the way to grow Unitarian Universalism, to let others know the joy and the satisfaction of the way we approach liberal religion, starts in your church this Sunday.